Welcome everybody, my name is Elena Kafitz and it's my honor and privilege to be here tonight for this incredible event. And as I look around this room, I am totally blown away by the incredible audience that has come here tonight. So thank you so much for making the time and energy to come and be with us. Thank you so much. All right, so without further ado, this is a women's leadership event. And it's all about, if not you, then who? And here's Margot. First I want to thank EG Skincare. Can we give a huge round of applause to EG for making this possible? And of course, our friends at TSC. Amazing. In a world that constantly pulls us in so many different directions, there's something incredibly powerful about women coming together in the same room to learn and to connect and remind us of who we are. Every woman you'll hear tonight has built something truly remarkable. Not the path that was easy, instead a path that moved forward despite uncertainty, criticism, rejection, and fear. They decided that their own yes mattered. And that is exactly what we're here tonight. It's about confidence, courage, and reinvention. We're incredibly fortunate to be joined with an exceptional group who span careers in media, fashion, entrepreneurship, publishing, and beauty. So please let's help welcome our panelists. First up is Margot Grant-Witz.
Hi everyone, and thank you so much for coming. I didn't know what the theme song was.
Yeah, everyone's getting a theme song. Right. Let me read your bio. Okay, Margot's bio, everybody. It's a short one, but we're gonna go for everybody quick. Margot Grant-Witz is the Vice President of Elizabeth Grant Skincare, a third-generation leader of one of Canada's most iconic beauty brands, our host, moderator, and contributor this evening, and a leading voice in the pro-aging movement. Margot has become a power advocate for helping women embrace every chapter of life with confidence, purpose, and authenticity. Margot, everybody. And we're actually gonna hop over. Okay, we'll do Taylor next. Okay, Taylor K, everybody. Sorry, Tiff, it's Taylor. You got it? Go. Taylor song, everybody. Woo, Taylor K, everybody. Taylor K is a media personality, storyteller, and podcast host who works to explore the emotional realities of modern womanhood. Through honest conversations and thoughtful storytelling, Taylor gives voice to the experiences, changes, and triumphs that connect women across generations. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And our marquee guest here tonight is Jeannie Becker, everybody. And if you don't know, Jeannie, that was a good one. Good song choice. Jeannie Becker is one of Canada's most beloved fashion authorities and media personalities. Through decades of storytelling and cultural commentary, Jeannie has helped shape conversations around style, self-expression, status, and identity, reminding women that fashion is about more than just we wear. It's about who we become. Thank you, Jeannie. Next up, and maybe a new name to some of you, but I'd like to introduce you to Danny Kagan, everybody. Good song for Danny, yeah. So Danny is the co-founder of Maven Shea, the 7-figure brand behind the world's first luxury ergonomic slipper designed specifically for women. Danny's entrepreneurial journey is a testament in innovation, resilience, and building a business that solves real problems while empowering women prioritize themselves. And the booth is over there if you want to check out the slippers. Danny, everybody. And last but certainly not least, please meet, this is Bryce Gruber, everybody. Bryce is a phenomenal commerce content director, journalist, and author of 2 best-selling Substacks. Why did I say Bryce? Bryce, wow, that really came up. Okay, Bryce has built a trusted platform for helping women make informed decisions around how they spend their time, energy, money, while sharing an honest perspective on ambition, motherhood, and modern life. If you're not following her on TikTok, Instagram, every single, she's incredible content. Go give her a follow. Actually, everybody right now. And that is our panel, everybody. Thank you so much. What makes tonight especially meaningful is the opportunity to hear from women at different stages of leadership success, from Jeannie's decades of shaping cultural conversations from Margot's leadership and redefining how we think about aging and visibility. Tonight we'll explore what it means to trust ourselves, build confidence through action, navigate reinvention, and challenge the stories we've inherited through age, success, visibility, and worth. I'm almost done, I promise. I swear. My hope is that every person leaves this room with one new idea, one new connection, and one new belief about what it is to be possible for them. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to our host, moderator, and one of the leading voices in the pro-aging movement, Margot Grant-Witz, everybody!
By the way, that's Alana Kafetz, okay? And who Alana Kafetz is Alana Kafetz is not just a leader in terms of business and entrepreneurship, but she created a community beyond herself that allowed moms to be seen. So in her own right, she is a leadership coach, she is someone who believes in women, and she loves everyone to find what they're passionate about and invest in themselves. So even though she was so cute to talk to all of us, she ignored her own spotlight. So let's give Alana a nice round of applause.
Thanks, Margot.
You're welcome.
So the way this is going to work tonight is we're having a conversation. Margot is going to be the moderator, and I'm here to jump in. And we're having sort of a group conversation, and we're going to hold some questions till the end. Questions, comments, feedback, and concerns, you can come find me, give me a wave. And we're going to pass the mic at the last 15 minutes. So hold on to your questions, okay? Let's get it kicked off. Thanks, Margot. Go for it.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so if anybody's been to my events before, we start in a different way. It's heads up, 7 up, everyone. So close your eyes. Every single person in this room, please close your eyes. It feels uncomfortable. Here's the thing. Show of hands. How often in your life have you ever felt less than? If you have felt less than, put your hands up. How often in your life, whether personal or professional, has someone tried to keep you smaller? How often in your life, whether it's personal, professional, in your relationship, do you feel like sometimes you are overshadowed and forgotten? Well, unfortunately, ladies, if you open up your eyes, and everybody whose eyes were open on the panel, they saw how many hands went up. And the worst part about that is I've been saying this a lot lately. People always go, what do you bring to the table? And I always say, I am the table. And not only am I the table, all of you ladies are tables. There would be nobody sitting at a table or building a table or cooking at a table unless a woman brought them into this world. So if anybody has ever made you feel less than, tonight is the night to say it's enough. And tonight is not the night to turn around and say that this is going to be an amazing iron to steam away any of your problems. I wish I could, can't. But what tonight is a hopeful way that when you leave from this conversation, you've emptied the cup that is overfilled. You've refilled your own cup with things that matter. Encouraged by all of these exceptional women who are sitting right next to me. And are able to understand the answer to the question of why does your internal yes mean less than someone's external no? And funny, when I was talking to Jeannie about it, she's like, well, what does that mean? Tell me all about that. Explain that. And I said, it's a great thing to always put me on my pedestal to say, well, what do you mean by that? That sounds like a lot of words. We often have great ideas, whether it's a passion project, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a meal, whether it's an outfit, and you go, oh, I'm so excited. And then all of a sudden someone goes, really? Well, that's what you're doing? Are you sure? Are you nervous? Do you have time? Do you have space to do that? What about so-and-so or this job or anything else? And all of a sudden that passionate, I'm so excited to do it, fades away. And those seeds of doubt get planted and a forest of despair grows. And somehow it always happens to women. We have these incredible, courageous fights inside of us from little ages, little girls, that everything is possible, and then the world chips it away. And those passionate, amazing, incredible little girls who you have, the folks who's become incredibly strong women, are kept in a smaller space. And so today's conversation is to let you know it's not meant for you to shrink. It's meant for you to own the space that you're comfortable in doing. And by owning that space that you're comfortable in doing, you're able to show up, sorry to be spiritual, for the person that the universe, that God, that whoever you speak to, wanted you to be. And when we were designing this event, Alana said, who do you want to talk? She's off. So who do you want to talk? I say, Taylor Kay. And why do I want Taylor Kay? And I love Taylor Kay. I've known Taylor Kay for quite some time. And frankly, I think I loved her for longer than she's even known who my name was. But something about Taylor.
She gave me free eye patches. I was like, let's be
Correct. But something about Taylor, she's kind, and she's warm, and she's inviting, and she's a connector. And she's worked her tush off to be who she is without having people shrink her for who she's not to be. So I said, I have to have Taylor for here this event. Then, Elena said, okay, who else? Because it can't just be a conversation between you and Taylor. I said, can't. He said, no. I said, I want Miss Jeannie Becker. Now, Elena said, how the heck are you going to get Jeannie? I said, I'm going to do it. She said, how are you going to do it? I said, I don't know, but I'm going to have a conversation. Why did I choose Miss Jeannie Becker? Now, Miss Jeannie Becker is a force in her own right. Anybody who, I don't know one person around the world who doesn't know her, but more so, she's kind, she's charismatic, she's determined, she's passionate, but she's never let the people in the room around her shrink who she is. And in media, it's a funny thing. I don't know if anybody notices this about the world of media, quite often in general, people, once you're over the age of 40, you're asked to disappear. Off the pasture, toodaloo, we're going to bring in the younger model. But Jeannie has not only held her own, she's commanded the room and defined the conversation without allowing anybody to shrink her who she is. And I wish I could bottle myself up with Jeannie. And luckily for me, she said yes. And frankly, luckily for all of you, she said yes. Okay? Then I have my new true blue, Danny Kagan. I met Danny personally about a year, like I would say December, not even a year anniversary. And this woman is just, okay, she's like a unicorn. First off, she's gorgeous, okay, but she's smart and she's funny and she's inclusive and all of these things. But she saw a problem in her own world and decided to continuously make the world better, not just for her, but for everyone around her. She created great, incredible slippers that I waited on for too long, but I'm so happy I have them. She's now head of high tech, which is something about getting conversations for entrepreneurial women and the Jewish community, and just for women to stand into their own. And so when I look at Danny, I was like, yeah, she's a new true blue, but God, I wish I had the same chutzpah as you growing up. So I'm so happy that Danny genuinely said, yeah, I want to chat. And then, for whatever reason, I got Bryce. And why I say this is Bryce did a nice little trip over the ocean for me. She's like, yeah, I'll come. Now, Bryce is a really phenomenal woman, and I've known her for, 25 years? Yeah, like 20, 25 years, about there. But what's interesting about Bryce is Bryce always created a path for her growth, her success, not because I would say this, yeah, you wanted to, but there was a have to as well. And in that have to, it was nothing that happened to Bryce. The world didn't happen to Bryce. Life didn't happen to Bryce. Bryce said, I'm going to create a world about me. And she started seeing spaces that didn't exist in conversations that happened. I brought this up earlier. She was all about e-commerce before e-commerce was a thing. Now, when you look at this woman and you hear her speak as an expert, she's an expert, and every single one of these women are experts in their field. But more so, they are the perfect example of why women are not crabs in a bucket. And what I mean by this is every single woman on this panel polishes another woman's crown. Every single woman on this panel says there's space for everybody. Every single woman on this panel says, how can I help lift up the next person by being the best version of myself? That doesn't mean it's always clean and cut and all sorts of things. And not a perfect world. But they made the world work for what they were trying to achieve. So this conversation to me is the most inspiring and selfish conversation I've ever done as a panel, because I really wanted to hear about these women. I really wanted to hear that these women were able, can I get a little bit of your sparkle in my cup? Can I get a little bit of your chutzpah to keep me going? Can I please be able to see spaces that I don't see exist? And how do I do it with such grace and charm and kindness? And so every single one of these women, regardless of age, stage, profession, I think every single person can walk away with having something from this to say, okay, this is going to be a great night, and today is going to be a better day. So I really want to say selfishly, this was for me, okay? But in a bonus, I think everyone's going to love this. You know? So this is why we're doing it. Now, Elena made me do this. And I say this, we've worked at this event for quite some time, and Elena was meant to be a moderator. Elena was meant to be the one asking questions, and she's like, you got to do it. So I hope I can do it. And I hope I can do it with justice. But tonight is the night to answer, why does your yes mean no more than someone else's no?
That's Margot. Margot, everybody. Let's go.
That's
I got it.
Okay, so we're going to jump in. And we're going to jump in with, Elena did some great questions. I love them so much. So I'm actually going to go directing first. I love a direction. She told me to direct it. So I'm going to go with Taylor because she's sitting right next to me. Taylor, the phrase your vibe attracts your tribe sounds so simple. But building community isn't always easy. How has your tribe, and more importantly, your vibe, changed as you've grown and redefined each chapter of your personal and professional career?
Your vibe, your tribe. You know what? I grew up in Hamilton, Steel City girl. Yeah, 905. I'm in Toronto now. You need a nexus to get where I live now. Or a passport. I'm in the East End. But I grew up in a household where we were inclusive of everyone. So your vibe was your tribe. You treated everyone. My dad was a blue collar electrician, and I saw how people treated blue collar contractors. I was digging trenches. If anyone has a Pioneer family pool, I probably dug it out like when I was a kid. Not that so I learned very, very early on with my dad that you have to treat everyone the same. Whether you're, and you've heard this before, whether you're, electrician, a janitor, all the way up to the president. And I would see how people, their vibe was not their tribe. And so I learned very young to be inclusive. And I think that's why I'm a connector. And I would geek out. I even said to Tina, I'm like, I know my AV guys back there. Like, I'm like the crew, like the vibe is my tribe. I want to connect with everyone in the room. I think I connected with some people here. I just walked up and started talking just because I want to know why you're here, how you got here. Some of your neighbors are here. I got to meet your neighbors.
Some of my neighbors are here.
But sometimes people don't want to be part of your tribe. And you have to know these are not your people. They're not your connectors. And it's okay. It's like having breakups with people, or you just know they're not in, I don't want to say tribe, but yeah, they're not in your tribe, and they don't have to come along for the ride.
Have you ever forced yourself to stay in a space that you thought was meant for you? And how did you know that it wasn't?
Yes, it was radio. I have a kinesiology degree. I could probably crack someone's back here or do some stretches if you want.
Crack my back.
Yeah, crack your back. I'm not really good at it. But I was told to leave many, many times. Like, general managers would come up to me and say, you suck. You should not be doing this. So I found my tribe in a smaller town. I was in it was another radio station. I won't say the radio station, doesn't matter. They don't deserve it. And they went bankrupt anyway. Anyways, because they were not vibing and tribing. But I knew not to stay there, and I moved to another radio station and found my tribe and continued going on. I moved to Woodstock, Ontario, and then London, and then came back to Toronto. But you need to know when to exit sometimes, and sometimes it's hard. You don't want it. But I knew radio was my thing. It just wasn't this particular radio station and these people.
Did you burn bridges?
No.
I like
the gentleman that was rude to me when I took another radio station, I sent him a plant. and then I will say, I called him up and I said, it's going to feel good not to give away burgers anymore and give away cars at Chum FM when I worked at Chum. So, yeah. So, I was polite.
I love that. So the reason why I always ask the vibe of the tribe is because quite often we stay in rooms where we think we fit, until we realize that we might have outgrown the places, the spaces, or the people. And it's really hard to know how to exit with grace versus shrinking yourselves to say, okay, I'm going to hang out with a person who doesn't make me feel so great, or the job that I'm doing, or all of those things, right? And when you hear bosses turn around and be like, you suck.
Well, and I'm going to be honest, and Jeannie can, in radio and TV and most jobs, but back in the day, you're as good as your last show. And I think I was let go probably 9 times in radio, but I was rehired back at the same station. So I saw people burn bridges and, do that. That wasn't my thing. I was a connector. I'm going to stay. If they don't like you, it's because, maybe it's an ageism thing. Sometimes they were flipping formats, but I just found a better place to move on and still do what I wanted to do, but maybe not with the people I wanted because they didn't want me, so I had to move on.
I love that. Great answer. Jeannie? Women are often expected to do it all and do it beautifully. Do you subscribe, and this might sound a little wordy, and I'll try to do it, but do you subscribe to sharing the burdens that you experience to help lighten and brighten the path for people ahead of you, for people next? And are you someone that has a hard time doing that? Like, do you like to share the light of all the lessons that you learned for everyone around you?
Oh, do I like to share? Yes. I mean, I think that's what we're here for, to really help each other and to inform each other and to draw on each other's experiences. And I think our own personal stories are the most precious gifts that we can give to one another. And I know sometimes that's incredibly tough to do. It's incredibly hard for some people to share and open up and give in that way. But boy, when you do it, when you can kind of coax yourself to do it if you don't feel that comfortable doing it, the rewards come back in spades. So I think that's something that's really important. I grew up in Toronto, the child of Holocaust survivors who immigrated here in 1948. And they came to Toronto and they had nothing. Absolutely, they had lost their entire families and everything in the war. And I was born, I can't believe this, I was born just 4 years after that, 1952, do the math. So my parents were incredibly traumatized, but they rose like phoenixes from the ashes because they were determined to rebuild their lives. And they were determined to give my sister, who came over with them as a baby, and me, a better chance at life. And my dad scraped together some money and borrowed some money. And we, in 1952, the year I was born, he bought a big house in downtown Toronto. My sister and me and my mom and my dad lived in 2 little rooms in the downstairs of that house. It was a 3-story house, and all the other rooms were rented out to other immigrants, and that helped pay the mortgage. And every night, my dad would invite them down to the kitchen table, and he'd pour, a shot of Crown Royal, his favorite food. And he would ask them for their stories. And, and most of them were talking in broken English. But I would sit there as a little girl, listening to all these incredible stories of survival and stories of courage and tenacity. And, and I think it's those stories and the horrifying war stories that my parents talked about all the time. I know some Holocaust survivors especially don't ever want to talk about what they went through. But my parents, almost as a form of therapy, maybe for themselves, they talk just, amongst themselves. And my sister and I were, there to listen. I remember hiding under the bed when I was 5 years old because, I did not want to hear any more war stories. But now I realize it is those stories of survival that really made me who I am, and that gave me the strength and the courage to pursue my dreams in a big way and to really believe in myself.
How did you keep going in terms of the path that you created? Because you created not just, hey, I have a microphone in front of a camera. You created a conversation, an identity, an ability to be seen, and a confidence that I think exuded through everyone's screens, just to be like, how can I be like her? How do I go toe to toe with all these people?
You know what I would say to those chicks? Get your own job. They all wanted my job. I invented this job. No. Listen, the fact is that passion is everything. Once you lose that, once that starts to wane, you're kind of in trouble. So I make it my mission to be passionate and to keep that passion. And, some days it's definitely harder than others. And sometimes you do worry that, maybe it's disappearing. But I just think if I just make myself dance as fast as I can every day, it'll stay with me, because I love life. Like, love it, love it, love it. I mean, I think that's what got me through my cancer journey. And that's what helped make me a little more fearless and maybe resilient, because I said, I love my life so much. I am not going to let fear rob me of that joy. And that is the one choice that you all have. We all have one choice in this life that no one can ever take from us. We can decide on our attitude. We can decide on how we want to approach a situation or feel about a situation, or certainly feel about ourselves. I mean, listen, it ain't easy, but I think that's the thing. The late Edith Agar, the brilliant Holocaust survivor psychologist, wrote about that. And Viktor Frankl, in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, who was a Holocaust survivor as well, that's what got them through the war. They had the choice to feel that way about what they were going through. Nobody can ever take that from you. So I mean, I just keep reminding myself about that every day. Like, it's my choice, it's my attitude, and you just got to keep moving and keep going and keep believing in yourself.
Going down the path, and don't worry, we're going to circle back on a bigger conversation. It's not just a one and done. So, Danny, hi doll. Looking back, was there a moment where you stopped waiting for permission and decided to trust your own voice?
Also have to follow Jeannie Becker. First of all, this room is absolutely amazing. Wow. Absolutely stunning. Just so powerful. I think I was always someone who trusted myself to an extent. I think, I grew up kind of like you said, really confident, and then you reach a certain age and you kind of realize, oh, I'm going to just pull it in and rein it in a little bit. But I always was someone who felt like I was a leader, and I had great role models around me. I had very strong people around me. And I watched my dad work really, really hard and step into entrepreneurship after the age of 50. And I think that's important to share, because I think we think that you have to start really young if you want to go out and do your own thing. And it can happen at any point. And reinvention has to happen all the time. I am constantly reinventing myself, and I think that's part of the trust that I've had in myself since I was little. I think the thing that gives me that trust is that I remind myself the only way that I can grow is to do uncomfortable things constantly. And some days I love doing the uncomfortable things, and some days I hate it. But I still keep doing it, because that is how I have grown to the success that I've had today. And the success goes up and down, like hour to hour as an entrepreneur. How many people have businesses in the room? Wow, it's phenomenal. So it's not linear by any means. 1 hour you get one amazing email and you're on an absolute high, and the next hour you are down in the mud crawling. And yeah, it's just constant getting beat down and coming back up. And I think it's the people who you surround yourself with, going back to community, that allow me to keep going and keep saying, no, I'm just going to get back up and try again. And, it's doing the uncomfortable things, actually. Really great tie-in here. I knew that Jeannie was actually going to an event that I was attending. That's a great story. And I thought, I'm going to Google, because there wasn't AI like we had like 2 years ago. And I Googled Jeannie Becker's shoe size, and I thought, I'm just going to gift her a pair of my slippers. So uncomfortable, like, oh my God, it's Jeannie Becker. What is she going to do? She doesn't know who I am. I'm a no one.
And I said, hi, I introduced myself, and I gave her a pair of our slippers. And the mensch of a woman that she is called me the next day and said, I'm obsessed with your slippers. And I thought I was crying on the phone.
Yeah, but hold on. That was beyond that. When you came up to me with that box of fabulous black slippers, which I still have, it totally flipped me out because my father had a little slipper factory. And he toiled in that factory 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. I mean, just to keep a roof over our heads. But that's what he did. He made slippers. He started the company in our basement. So when I meet this gorgeous gal that comes up to me with a stunning, luxurious pair of slippers, I thought, this is just kismet. This is like God talking to me. This is like in Yiddish they call it a beshert, meaning it's meant to be. It's just, and so that was the magic.
But it took like a little bit of uncomfortableness on my end to do the thing that feels a little bit strange and a little bit you feel like a bit of an imposter when you do these types of acts, right? Even it doesn't matter how big you are, how confident you are. And I think that's part of that magic is just doing it anyway. And so that was a really special moment. And I had chills on my arm when you told me the whole story about your father and quality slippers. And then I did another uncomfortable thing while I was on the phone. I said, this is my chance to ask her to do a collaboration. And I asked her, I said, let's design a slipper. We'll do it like in a color that you like. And, your book's coming out. And anyway, so right there on the spot, not I'll email you or I'll call you next week. On the spot, being so uncomfortable in the moment and doing it. And then you get a yes. Now, just FYI, there's 100 no's in between that yes or before that yes. But she said yes. And then we launched a slipper 1 year later. And
What's the name of the slipper, Danny?
it's called the Genie.
And as a fundraiser for breast cancer.
Yes. And
because I had just gone through breast cancer.
yes, there's a beautiful heart for her book heart on my sleeve. And it was just a beautiful, meaningful collaboration. And I think that's another point just about community and entrepreneurship. It's not about just doing these marketing things because you feel like you have to. It's about storytelling. And storytelling is at the root of everything. Like what we do and we build in public all the time. We tell our customers and we tell people on social media, we had a flood at our factory, your slippers are going to be late, and this is what's happened, and now we're in debt, just letting you know. And we're there with everyone along for the journey, and I think that's a huge part of it. And it builds your own trust in yourself to open up and talk to people vulnerably about what's happening. So bringing people into your journey actually helps, like you were saying, build that community and build the trust within yourself to keep going.
So I just want to bring attention to that, what Danny just said, and it's a beautiful answer, and I love it so much. But Danny said, I walked up to Jeannie, and who am I? And you could see that she already did that self-deprecation. And then, I don't know if anybody was looking at Jeannie as she was talking, but Jeannie was just like, who are you to shrink yourself? And you can catch it in the body language. And it's something so interesting that we turn to other women, or even just people around us, to sort of validate that we matter. And so until we have that external validation from someone, we immediately will cut ourselves down so that we don't take up too much space. We're not too loud, we're not too powerful, we're not too successful. But the question always becomes, if not you, then who? So, Danny, who are you not to have walked up to the incredible Miss Jeannie Becker? But I understand the tail between your legs because I've done the same thing in Inside Manners. Because when you walk up to impressive people, you want to have something that you feel that you're impressive to bring to the table as well. But what's so interesting is when you just let other women speak to you or see you and you see them through their eyes, you recognize how much you actually do bring to the table. So I always just want to say, let's give Danny a wonderful round of applause for taking the chutzpah. But also, Jeannie, thank you for rolling your eyes and letting me catch that. Because I loved it. It's a real moment. Hey, Bryce. What was the push that got you into your space? And what was your reason?
That's a really good question. I think truthfully, I think we all raised our hands for all of the initial questions. I spent the majority of my early years doubting everything, and I continue to. But at some point in, I don't know if it was my 20s or when, but I decided that that is not serving me and I'm not getting anything I want out of the world. And that's just going to have to change. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit in a pile of mud for the rest of time. And that was not good. And it, like, all those kind of like self-doubt moments of who am I or what am I or whatever, it was like a challenge. You know, you remember when you're in like gym class as a kid and like the teacher is like screaming, 1 more mile, you can do it. And you're like, no, I can't. And I sort of started doing that with myself. Like every time I was tempted to hate myself or hate something that the world was doing to me, around me, whatever, I was very aware that I was probably not the only one feeling like that. And I started to change everything that I felt like, I'm sorry, I don't know if this is on camera, but everything that felt like shit for me was like my mission to be open about it. So the person next to me who probably also felt like shit did not feel like shit. And that has been 100% of my success, is naming all of the stuff that makes me feel insecure, uncomfortable, not good, not beautiful, not smart, and like all of the things, you know, like I walked up to, Marion will tell you, I was like, let's talk about my estrogen patch. It's my favorite drug. She was like kind of laughing at me. And I think, you know, there's all this uncomfortable stuff. The act of existing is uncomfortable. The act of being a woman is uncomfortable. The act of being human in everyone else's space and judgment is uncomfortable. And I really loved what you said, that you just have to do uncomfortable things. And for me, it was like a version of that. It was a different dish made from the same ingredients, which is you have to do all the things that make you feel like shit about yourself to make the girl next to you feel not like shit and not alone. And that will bring so many blessings and open so many doors. And for me, I really didn't have a choice. At 24, I was a single mom, which is not the earliest in the world, but I was like, I better make it, because at that point I also really hated men, and I was like, who knows if I'll ever get married again, you know, like, and I was like, it's me and this kid against the world. We better do this. And that's it. And I recognized that the only way to really get that done was to just be like, let my weird flag fly, and hopefully the girl next to me would appreciate it. And it was better than that. It was better than I ever could have imagined. And I really think that's like the biggest lesson for everyone. I tell my kids all the time, whatever makes you feel like garbage is going to be your biggest blessing. It will open every door for you, whatever struggle, whatever junk is on your plate. That is what I have, like, sorry to be spiritual also, that it's like a test from God, you know, like, that's what you are supposed to overcome, because that's where your pot of gold is going to be.
So lovingly, really luckily for us, we have some young people in this audience, and it kind of inspires my next sort of series of questions. Because all of the women on the panel, we are graced enough and lucky enough to be moms. Different ages, different stages, different lifetimes, different amounts. If you were to, this is a two-part question for everyone on this panel. Okay? First half of the question is what burden would you want to remove from your children? And then the second half of the question is, if you could go back in time and talk to yourself, what's one lesson you wish you could help give that inner child of yours to remove some of your own internal burdens?
Am I first? Okay.
Who's ever the most comfortable to go first, you can go first.
Who wants to take it? Taylor, go.
I will say I feel like I have removed the burden for my kids. My husband, for some of you don't know, my husband had a stroke 4 years ago. He's nonverbal paralyzed. He lives in a home. There's the Coles notes. My burden was having, and their burden was having neighbors come up and telling me, your kid should be doing this, your kid should be doing that. They should be caregivers. I'm like, my kids should be kids. They're not, I even had nurses tell me like, I'm going to show you how to change a catheter. And my kids were like, at the time, 11, just turned 11, 13 and 15. And I said to the nurse, I'm like, oh, does your kids clean the room? You have teenagers? She's like, no. And I said, my kids don't either. And you think they're going to clean their dad's catheter. So I've removed that burden. I'd like to remove more because I do put pressure on them. I think because I still rely, like my eldest tonight, because I wanted my kids to be here, but they have soccer, they have dance. And she's like, Mommy, I'm not your wife. Because I relied on her to drive the kids somewhere else. So I'd like to remove that burden. I don't know about my younger self. What was the other?
Like if you can look back and have a conversation with your younger self to be like, I wish I could tell you this to let you know your life will be easier.
Oh,
what would that permission you'd get?
I would have said skip kinesiology and go right to radio. But I will tell you, it was this, and I know you guys are feeling this. I was listening to the wrong people then. I wasn't listening to my tribe at the time. And I should have listened. I was told, this is going to be rude. Oh, well. Okay, sorry. I was told by a guidance counselor, imagine you're like 16, 17. And I'm like, I really like radio. I volunteered at a radio station, but I was good in science. And she literally said to me, well, in radio, there's only Marilyn Dennis and Aaron Davis, and which I'm friends with Marilyn, I'm friends with Aaron. But she said, it's like who you know and who you blow to get into there. A guidance counselor, who later I found out was sleeping with students. So there's another thing. So she was knowing everybody. Anyway, TMI. So I wish I told my son I would go back. And now, it is who you know. I will say I made a choice. I went to kinesiology. I went to McMaster. And God, the universe, you're supposed to be where you're supposed to be. Follow those signs. I picked only universities that had radio stations. McMaster had a radio station. I kept going, trying to volunteer. They wouldn't volunteer. They were like, no, because I liked house music at the time, and it was like Nirvana. And there happened to be they had an electrical problem at one of the buildings. Like I said earlier, my dad was an electrician. My dad had to go to McMaster and fix the radio station. And he had to take it off the air. And the general manager ran down. He's like, how long are we going to get off the air? And my dad's like, I'll work a lot quicker if you give my daughter a radio show. I am supposed to be where I'm supposed to be. It is, I guess, who you know, but
just didn't have to do the other half.
But I wish I could go back and tell myself it's going to be okay. You're supposed to be where you're supposed to be. I was cutting cadavers and doing that stuff in anatomy, but the burden stuff. I'm still working on that stuff with my girls, and it's hard. But
are you working on that with you?
No, we've talked about this, not yet. My focus is the girls.
I love it. That's what I mean. We always pour out of our own cups until we realize we have to empty our own cup to refill it. And we do it so often, especially as a mom. It's everybody and then some. You're doing great. I love you so much. Jeannie, what would you say to your, what burden would you like to remove?
I don't know if I really like to remove any burden, because I think it's these burdens that partly make my kids who they are. My girls are, I'm gonna gush now, but they're incredible. They're both very wildly talented artists in different ways. One's a singer-songwriter, musician, and the other one is an animator, illustrator, writer. They're just filmmaker. They're just wildly creative, and it's like I've spent most of my career talking to these various artists, from around the world, some of the greatest creative minds of our time, and I realized that one of the biggest burdens is that you are always driven by these demons. You always, you have certain ideals that you just, want them to materialize all the time. And life's not like that. Like, it just doesn't necessarily work that way. But it's not as though you're going to give up on that. So I see the struggles that my daughters have, being the incredible, creators that they are, and just how tough it is, and how tough it is to make a living, and how tough it is to take criticism sometimes, and how tough it is to just hang in there, and how tough it is to keep believing in themselves. But I think that's what the journey is all about. Like, to alleviate all that, but then what? Like, okay, well, life's really easy, tra-la-la, I'll just go on my merry way. Who wants someone like, that this is what makes us interesting as individuals. I mean, how we choose to survive, the choices that we make, and the dreams that we decide to pursue. And even though some of them are really not easy, and sometimes, it's like our passions, almost destroy us, but it's just part of the whole package. So I don't know, of course I'd love my kids to have an easier life, and like both of them live alone. Becky lives on our farm in the middle of nowhere, like on in a little stone cottage on 123 acres, like all by herself. Well, she's got 21 Indian runner ducks and 130-pound epileptic Malamute and 3 cats. But she's fearless, like fearless. And then my other daughter, the singer-songwriter, lives in the Yukon in a log cabin off grid, and she's lived there for like 12 years. No water, no electricity. Like, I always encourage them to be fearless, and now I'm thinking, do you have to be that fearless? It's like, as a mother, it's like, it's a lot to take, but on the other hand, like, this is who they are, and they inspire me so wildly, like every day, in every way. So that's my answer to that. And in terms of the second question about what would I have told my younger self, about just that it was going to be okay, that no matter what happens, you just gotta have faith. And I've learned that increasingly, as the years go by, that when my marriage broke up, it was like, I thought I was going to die. I thought it was like, how can this be? I had 2 little kids. My husband just one day said, I don't want to be married anymore. I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Like, what? I was like madly in love with this guy, and he just like walked. He gave 2 weeks notice. Like, I just don't want to. I mean, we remain very good friends to this day, I have to say. That's a whole other story. But it was just like, I was devastated. I thought, this is like my own personal Holocaust. This is like, how am I going to go on? How am I going to keep up with this so-called glamorous, monstrous life that I created for myself? But I just kept going. And as the years went by, I really understood more and more that keeping an open heart and an open mind are 2 of the most important things you can do, no matter what happened to me, no matter what tried to, shut me down. Like, I was just gonna not turn into like a cynical, bitter person about it. I was just gonna, take what I could from it, learn from it, and just keep going. And as the years went by, I mean, I've got like quite a few years on all you kids, and a lot of you kids out there too. So I do tell you, if you remain true to yourself, if you really remain true to yourself, I think it all gets a whole lot easier, and it's just a wonderful place to land for me now, in terms of, I never thought I'd be able to find balance either, because I was so driven with my career and show business and this crazy world that I just loved so much. But then, but I had to have the balance, because I wanted a family too. I just wanted it all. And somehow, I think I did have it all, and do have it all. But it's a kind of balance that sometimes seems absolutely impossible to strike. But, if you just keep your eye on the prize and, keep your nose to the grindstone, just keep at it. Eventually, it happens that way. And that's what's so wonderful about being this age and this stage and just looking forward to this next incredible chapter.
I love that.
And Jeannie has another hot guy in her life. You have another hot guy in your life.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Falling madly in love at the age of 63, that was a great blessing. Yeah, very, very, very blessed and very lucky. But again, it's that because I had an open mind and I had an open heart and, timing, and you just got to have faith. You really got to have faith.
See why I wanted Jeannie on the panel, okay? Because she literally is just that cup that I wish could spill into everybody. Because I'm sorry, she doesn't want to remove a burden from her kids because it's good for them. Who does that? But it's such a great mom thing to do, We equally want our children to succeed, but we also want them to grow. So Jeannie, thank you. Danny, I'm going to change it a little bit for you because you have younger ones, right? Danny has younger kids, so it's hard to say, the older ones, this is what you want them to do, right? For your younger ones, what is something that you wish of a space you could help create for them?
Well, as someone who's very ambitious and I love to work, I think that I'm putting we can call it burden, we can call it whatever. What I'm putting on them is that they're not going to have me all the time. And that's really hard for me. And I had my mom, who was here tonight. She was my biggest cheerleader at every dance competition, which is hectic. If you know kids who dance competitively, it's insane. And she was there all the time. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm not really going to be able to give my kids that because I have big dreams. I have big dreams. So I'm going to have this trade-off of some nights I'm not going to be able to put my kids to bed. And that was tonight, to pursue this. And some nights I will. And I think one of the things that I can give them is, and the thing that I'm trying to do more of now, is to be present with them when I am with them. I have a 5-year-old and a 15-month-old. And yeah, that's why you see me sometimes rocking while I'm sitting here. I just caught myself doing that. I was like, oh my God, please stop moving. So, when I am with them, I'm with them. My phone is gone. And I'm on the floor with them. I'm in the backyard. I'm in the grass with them. I feel like I'm working on that even more every day. And then when I'm at work, I'm really at work. I am hustling. And it is a hustle, right? Everyone who has a business, is it not a hustle? Doesn't matter what stage you're at. But it's fun and it's exciting and it's rewarding. So I love having that. And I really don't like the word balance. I don't think there is balance. I just don't feel like it exists. I think
You're wrong. For you. You don't like balance for you. Trust me, there definitely is balance. But that's just for me.
Okay, well, now I heard it here first. Balance exists, okay. I feel like it's a trade-off. I think the word for me is trade-offs, and I feel like it's, some days look amazing and you're with your family, and some days are just not the same. And so I think my biggest thing is about being uncomfortable. And that's where true growth always comes from for me. So if I can do the uncomfortable things at work and show my kids that I'm showing up for myself and actually going out there and trying new things and falling on my face and getting back up, I'm going to share all of that with them. My 5-year-old's starting to get things now. I actually went to her JK class to talk about what it means to be an entrepreneur. And as soon as I started talking, I explained who I was, and she interrupted me because she's bossy and I love it. And she said, to her whole class like this, she's a slipper girl. And I thought, oh, she knows what's going on. She knows what's up. First of all, I love that she's bossy. So I'm like, how do I keep that? So that's why I keep women in my life who are at different stages around me. I have 2 of my best friends are 10 and 15 years older than me, which I think is hugely important. So I get all the stuff about the teenage stuff and their kids are having sex and I'm like, oh my God, tell me everything. I need to be prepared. So I have people in my life who are around me that are at different ages and stages, which I think is very important. Where was I going with this?
She's bossy.
She's bossy and I love it. And so thank you. And so I really want to instill that in them too. And I want her to know what's going on and I want her to see me fall and I want her to see me succeed and what it takes to get to success and what it takes to get to these different milestones and bring her along on the journey. Like, you know, I have a display table here. Like when she's old enough, she can come with me and learn how to sell and learn how to talk to people and not be shy to, you know, do you tell me about your foot problems? This is what I do. Like, you know, let's talk about your plantar fasciitis or just tell me about your menopause, whatever you feel like. That's fine. I want her to be able to do that and both of them. So I hope that I can give that to them. Did I even answer your question? Sort of.
You answered my question, and then my second half of it is what conversation would you have with your younger self? What would you tell young Danny?
I probably would talk to my younger self about just being more present. I think as ambitious women, we like to go to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and it's so exciting. And just to like sit in my celebrations more. And my business partner, Victoria, just had a baby a few weeks ago. And one of the things that we do really well as partners, and we're very much a partnership. We've been business partners for 15 years. We had 2 previous businesses together in the event space. So we're in a marriage. And one of the things we do really well is when we have a big win, we go out and celebrate. So I would even tell myself, my younger self, to tell me now to do that even more, because I feel like it's just so easy to get caught on the hamster wheel and just to sit back even more and go out and celebrate your wins.
Quite often we always forget the places where we prayed for to be and we achieve, that we forget to celebrate in those moments because we're always, okay, so we did it, so what's next, right? So the opportunity to take the space to say, you did good, skid. Even if it's a 2-second conversation, I think women don't give them space to do. It's always what's on our plate. It's always how much we have going. It's, I feel I'm a mom, I'm an entrepreneur, I can do this. And it's always so much that you never sort of give space to say, I'm damn good at what I do. Whatever that is. And so you can hear it. Like, we're about to go to Bryce. I'm going to ask the same question. Bryce.
I feel like the burden that I would like to release, not just from my kids, but from every single person I know, but definitely myself, is to release the idea that if you keep working on something, it'll get better, they will get better, the thing, the experience, the emotion, whatever. Because sometimes, really, leaving something alone is the best possible thing for the thing and for you. And I don't know, I'm 42. That's a work in progress for me. And I keep relearning that lesson. I will probably learn it over and over and over again until I'm dead. But I would love for my kids to not have to learn that lesson over and over and over again. Because every single time, I don't know about for the rest of you, but for me, every time I learn it, it's painful and I do not like the experience. So I don't want that for my kids at all.
And younger Bryce?
I would just say move through the world not giving a damn about what anyone has to say. And especially, I think we've all heard this, but I think it's like the best advice ever, that to receive advice from someone whose life you would not want to live is just a mountain of garbage. You know, like if you don't envy the seat that they're sitting in, so sorry, your feedback is not going to be received.
That's the best advice I've ever heard. Elena, I'm going to ask you. Yeah. She's tapped me. She's keeping me on time.
Thanks, Margot. It's 8:00.
Yeah.
You want to answer it? Oh, my daughter in the room. I don't know what happened to her. I have a 7-year-old daughter running around. If you got a bag, that's her. Her name's Essa, and she asked me to call her out by name, and now she's not in the room. And she keeps calling me over to say, "When are you going to talk about me, Mom?" Essa, where are you? Bon, can you go get her? No, she's not here. She keeps asking me. I mean, look, my burden is this. I want my kids to see me shine. I have 4 kids under the age of 9. Yeah, they're crazy. Do not recommend. No, just kidding. I love them. I love them. I have a 1-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 9-year-old, and my sort of one-pager is my 3rd child almost died 3 years ago and didn't at the age of 3. Essa, come here. I've been waiting for you. Jeez. Hello, everybody. This is Essa. And Essa is spicy, and Essa's amazing. Come. Right now. Yeah. This is Essa, everybody. And Essa comes with me to all my events. She comes to every event that I do. My 3 sons stay home with my husband, and my daughter comes with me. And it's because I want her to see me shine. And this is extremely important to me. And for the same reasons, by the way, my son is 15 months old, and Danny's daughter is 15 months old.
We're booking the synagogue already.
They're getting married. Ruben, your baby, and her baby, Eden, are getting married. Yeah, I know. You weren't consulted, but we'll talk about that later. Anyways, Essa's incredible, and Essa, oh, you're married, but we won't talk about that now. Essa's incredible, and for me, like Danny, I'm also not around. I also miss a lot of bedtimes. I'm also highly in love with my business, and I'm in love with helping women find their joy, find their voice, literally with Margot, find their passion, right? And lead them through tough times. So when there's an opportunity for me, for her to see me shine, that's what I'm doing, right? This is a formative moment right here. Her looking at your faces is formative. And to me, that's crucial. And like sort of, maybe we'll be a family business, maybe we'll be a Marianne and Elizabeth and Margot's situation, 3 generations. I want my kids to see this role model. So this is why it's crucial for me that she's here. And the first thing she said when we got here is, "What's my job tonight?" That's what she said. So to me, that's a role modeling moment, right? She didn't say, "Where's my iPad?" She said, "What's my job?"
And no shade if she said, "Where's my
no
iPad?"
She but I offered it. I said, "Here's my phone." She said, "I don't want a phone. I want my job." And what did she do? She went to Stone by Steph, by the guys who got your bags, the Stone by Steph, and she was handing out the swag tonight. And people were like so impressed with her. So to me, that's the work ethic, right, and the drive that I want to role model. And the burden I want to express. There's some incredible entrepreneurs in this room, and I just need to give a shout out. There are some massive names in this room, and I'm so honored that you are here. Incredibly successful women are here tonight, and I don't think everyone knows who's who in the room. Please meet someone tonight because you're going to be shocked with who is here. And there's one particular woman who I have recently come to know. I had a learning disability growing up as a kid, and I had a really hard time reading, and my kids are having a hard time reading. So for me, watching them learn to read and them struggle is something that is deeply personal. And as a result, can I call you out? Are you gonna be mad at me? Where are you?
If you don't call her out, I'll call her.
Okay, so this is Ruth Rumack. If you don't know who she is, from Ruth Rumack Learning Center. This woman is one of the leading experts in education for kiddos when it comes to scholastics and literacy. And she sent me 10 books for my daughter. And I've never seen my kid pick up a book and read the way she's reading these effing books. Wait.
I love the books. I love the books.
She loves the books.
No?
Say, I love the books.
I love the books.
So to me, that to me is the tenacity. I can't necessarily help my daughter learn to read, or my son, but finding resources and people who can help me do that is the burden and will shape her identity. So I'm grateful for those opportunities and the moments where I can help shape her, not cure her, not make it better, but just give her tools. So that's the burden. And the younger version of myself, because I wish Ruth Rumack was around when I was a kid, because I probably would have learned to read way sooner. So really, really nice. I just needed to give that shout out because it's just a very real time story. So that's my situation.
I think it's so interesting, the fact that we asked you to stand and you sheepishly stood. Because there's something about standing in your own light and what you've built that is also really insecure. Stand up.
Yeah, Ruth.
When I was growing up, I once did a really negative grade on my report card. And my dad looked at me across the table. He's like, "What is this shit?" I said, "I'm average." And my father, anybody who knows my dad, knows he wasn't shy, knows he wasn't quiet, and knows he did not mince words. Lots of profanity. And he looked at me across the table and he said, "You can be a lot of things. You can be a fuck up, you can fail, you can be anything. But there's nothing about you that's average. So if you're keeping yourself small, you're the one keeping yourself small." So every lady in this room that you reverberate with your pebble in your stream, your lake, whatever, your river, out we go. You're ultimately giving permission. Yeah, you're doing a new rapid. You're ultimately giving yourself permission to let yourself stand in the light that you built, to let yourself stand in the passion that you followed, to let yourself stand in the opportunity where you failed, because we all fail, and you stand up to do it again. And the reality is, if you're shrinking yourself over something that you built, you're ultimately telling women around you that you're allowed to stay small. And I don't believe in women staying small. That doesn't mean you have to be loud. That doesn't mean you have to be aggressive. That doesn't mean you have to be who you are, who you're not. But none of you ladies are small. So the next time, whether you're a homemaker, whether you're a hairdresser, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a retiree, you are more than just your titles. You are the person who builds each one of those titles around you. So standing up taller is the space that you're meant to take. And if someone's making you smaller, you need to leave the room and go find a completely different crew of people. Because people who are keeping you smaller aren't doing it for yourself, they're doing it for them. Because they're afraid to try. And so the greatest lesson I always want women to have is, y'all are fucking phenomenal. Sorry to swear. Sorry, Mom. By the way, there's my mom. Yeah. And a fun story about my mom is my mom started again. My mom started Elizabeth Grant. She relaunched Elizabeth Grant when she was 46. Not because she's a scientist or a chemist or knew anything about beauty, but because she needed a new book to write of her own journey, right? So when you look at my mom, who likes to be shy, and I like to put her on the spot all the time, she hates it. It's one of my favorite things. Is she tried not because she knew. She tried because she had to. And when you're looking at each one of these women up here, they are the ripples of their pond. I'm so grateful to stand in an arena, in a space, in a room, in a world, in a city, where these women, all 5 of them, including Alana, who likes to sort of be on the end and be like, "It's okay, I'm answering." They create other spaces for women to stand tall, to take up space, to say you're not average, and if you are, that's okay, but don't shrink yourself to be it. So I think before we go to rapids, which Alana likes to keep me on cue because I keep talking consistently, is a question for each woman on the panel as well, about confidence, about getting up, about keeping going. We all wear many titles: mother, founder, leader, advocate. Beyond your resume, what is your favorite title and why? This is why my mom hates me putting her on her spot, because she also goes, I don't know. So, who wants to go first?
I'll just go because it's radio and I'll just talk. I don't like dead air. I love being an entrepreneur, but I love being a mom because I'm a CEO of the fucking family. So and I run the family. So, and 3 teenage daughters with the husband not at home, and they're cycling and I'm perimenopause. It is a mess right now. So I'm in charge.
How are you so nice though?
Oh, I'm not nice.
No, but you are. Like, you're like nice and you're kind and you're warm. And like, if you saw anybody here, oh, by the way, this is what just happened. Most people, as my grandmother would like to say, they're in misery. But you're not.
I am on a radio station in the US called K-Love, and the line is always positive, never negative. You're listening to K-Love, and that is me. Always positive, never negative. Although Howard Stern did make fun of me. He's like, who is this chicks? Always positive, never negative. I just, I always look at my kids think I'm like negative because I'm like, kids, right? They're like, oh, you're always on me, but I'm trying to make them better, make them stand taller. But I just know, and like Jeannie, I have faith. We all have our burdens. When I'll have, I've talked about Greg, my husband, but there's like, Jeannie's had cancer. We've had stuff. There's divorces. There's like, you've got to find the positive, and my positive is my girls. So that's how I stay positive all the time. Never negative, always positive. Like,
What radio station is that?
it's Caleb in the US. There you go.
Great tunes. Everyone can tune into. Jeannie?
I mean, motherhood, obviously, that's a big one for me, but there's so many, my partner means so much to me. My other family members mean so much to me. My friends mean so much to me. People, the people that I come in contact with, either directly or sometimes even like followers on Instagram that have given me messages that have really helped make my journey so much easier. I would say friend, because I want to be a friend to my kids, and I want to be a friend to my partner, and I want to be a friend to, I know it sounds just so, I don't know, it sounds a little,
Not in this room.
it sounds a
I'm sure
little
you will not.
twee. I want to be a friend. But I just want to, I just strive to be the best person that I can be. And a lot of that, in my mind, has to do with how much light I can manage to shine, and how much light I manage to take in. And so it's all these relationships that really ultimately mean so much to me. And just to think that you'd have to like abandon, any of them for the sake of one of them, it's just not realistic, because it's all, it's just all part of the big picture of my life.
I will say Jeannie's like the OG of supporting women, though. Like, you are, like, I mean, when I worked at Chum, when I did radio, like, I was like, so, I was the overnight girl, and you supported me. And even with, now I'm on TSC, calling Margot and calling Jeannie. I called Jeannie as a host for the shopping channel, and Jeannie was right there saying, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. And I'm like, yes. So you've always been a great friend. So thank you. And supporter.
Jeannie, I will say, and I don't mean for this to sound cheesy, but I genuinely mean this. It sounds like you're also like the best friend to yourself. It's like it just seems like I really wish I could have what you had, to be as kind to myself and to be as like champion, because it's the most unbelievable thing. And I'm sure like everybody sitting here can hear her speak and go, damn, like, so thank you for being a friend to everyone.
Just gotta, you gotta love yourself first and foremost. I mean, I know that sounds like, oh, how egomaniacal. I mean, I love myself. I'm not that great, and nobody's perfect, and, definitely realize that and know that and accept that and know that you're not perfect, but that's part of the human condition. Nobody's perfect. That being said, you really have to, learn eventually to really love yourself, because if you can't love yourself, I don't know how you can really love anyone.
I agree, but so many women don't do that.
Well, I'm just, I attribute a lot of it to upbringing as well. And a lot of people, are on shrinks couches. I totally get that, going back to their early days and what traumatized them and why they can't, be who they really ultimately, want to be, and what has stopped them from growing and thriving. And I'm just so lucky that my parents were so incredible. and they're still with me every single day. I mean, my dad passed in 1988. My mom passed in 2015. There's not one day that I don't feel that they're at my side, guiding me, protecting me, cheering me on. And I attribute that. I'm very, very, very blessed, very lucky to have had that, because I know not everybody has that.
Not everyone can see it.
Yeah.
Danny?
So other than all of the titles,
Yeah.
outside of all the titles, I think one of the things that I am is I'm a big hype girl. Yeah, I mean, at the last two events that I was at, I got everybody up on their feet dancing, getting out of their bodies, shaking it out. DJ's not there, you're lucky tonight. I was gonna say, DJ, hit it! So
running.
I love hyping.
Running.
Oh no, don't do it. Well, yeah, sure, go do it. Do it. Everyone just stand up for a second. We've been sitting for so long. Stand up for 1 second. Put on a really big banger. Come on. Let's go.
Leave it to Danny to just.
What's her name?
Go rope.
Just dance it out for a second. Yeah, put a smile on your face. If you have to pee, that's okay. Grab the person next to you. Turn them around. Come on. Hello. Woo! You're a dance, I can tell. Wow. Good moves. What kind of dance do you do? Ballroom. And with the ballroom dancer over here. Mama, boogie shoes. Okay, DJ. Thank you. Okay. All right. But seriously, like I really love. All right, sit down. We're almost done. Leslie, my best customer, wearing her Maven Shea slippers, rocking it out. No, I really love hyping people up. I think it's important to, first of all, get out of your body and dance. And I think dance is like a huge part of my life and always was and always will be. I think dance brings people together. It gets you out of your head. It gets you removes blockages in your body. So I love getting people up and hyping them up. And I'm also someone who coaches other people. I love to see other women, with the small amount of knowledge and skill set and, what I have is to be able to see other people go out there and build their own dreams. And I have an amazing new client who's building a huge business, and I want to be there right next to her, hyping her up and getting her to her next milestone. That's really big for me. And so that's one of my titles. And my other one is I'm also a bit of a weirdo. I like being eccentric. I'm really weird with my kids. I'm really silly. I love being silly. I don't always show that on a stage or a panel, but it's a really big part of who I am too. I just love being silly and ridiculous. And I think that's part of what sparks my joy in life. And me and my business partner are both, again, ex-competitive dancers. If anyone knows dancers, we're all a little weird. We're all a little crazy. And I think that's part of my magic. And I need to do it more, honestly, and I need to show it more. So thank you for this reminder.
Right? I don't have anything that cool, but I'm not going to make anyone dance. But I think the best title that I have and probably hope to pass down is that I'm an explorer. I will go anywhere. I will do anything. I will meet anyone. I will move anywhere. I'll move back from anywhere, whatever. I don't care. All of it is sort of a fun opportunity, everything. And I'm grateful that, everyone's blessed with different gifts, and it's one that I'm pretty pumped about.
Okay, as promised, even though I love the sound of my own voice. Alana, rapid questions, babe.
We're going to rapid question. Just for everyone for housekeeping, we're going to rapid question. It's 8:19, so we're doing pretty good. And then we're going to thank everybody. And then you guys can socialize, network, eat more. There's desserts out now.
Also get slippers.
And you can
all
purchase
sorts of
some
goods.
slippers that are gorgeous. We have amazing gift bags, and it's one per person, just one.
Also, by the way, with those gift bags, because I think every woman deserves flowers.
So we have an
Everyone gets a
amazing
rose.
sponsor tonight who everyone gets roses when they leave too. And the sponsor for the roses, I will name everyone's name before they leave, so don't forget, you'll be thanked. So we're going to do a couple rapid fire questions, and everyone can just give me one word answers. Is that okay? Try.
Bradley Cooper. Hall pass.
Okay, what keeps you going in one word? Bryce.
I don't see any other choice. That's it. There's no other direction.
Great. As an entrepreneur, I can relate. I love that. Danny, one word that keeps you going.
Kids.
Kids. Jeannie, one word that keeps you going. People. I love that.
Kids.
This.
Yeah, I love that. What is something you've built that you hope makes the path easier for the woman coming behind you?
I think I've just put out this sort of open, honest voice in everything that no matter what magazine I've written for or managed or things that I've published, whatever, it's just be this no BS version of yourself and bring a no BS version of whatever it is, your lens. And hopefully it makes everything easier for the people around you, because whatever garbage you see and feel, someone else is also seeing it and feeling it, and God willing, it leaves the earth a little bit better for the girls that are a little bit younger.
I love that. The question is, what is something you've built that you hope makes the path easier for the woman coming behind you?
Myself.
I love that. Jeannie?
I think, absolutely, really echoing what the two of you have said, authenticity.
Yeah, amazing.
Say the question one more time.
Basically, it's the path. Sorry, I don't remember writing this one. What is something you've built that you hope makes the path easier for the woman come behind you? Radio, motherhood, any identity.
Achievable. I try to make things achievable.
I love that.
This is not one word, but it is short. We've always lived under the impression that it doesn't matter what's between your legs, it matters what's between your ears.
Okay, love it. Okay, anything. What are you excited for in the future? Give me one idea.
Look, everything. I think that's the coolest thing about just life in general, but also in business, is the idea that anything and everything is possible at any given moment. You never know what's coming, and the only way the good shit's gonna happen to you is if you are open to all the weird shit that could come your way.
I love that. Danny, what are you most excited for?
I think just doing things, like going out there and just doing things, and like that's exciting. It doesn't really matter what it is, just going out there and taking action on literally anything.
I love it. Thank you, Jeannie.
Tomorrow.
I love that. Amazing.
My book.
Yeah. Lovely. Marga.
Oh, what was I had one and then I got distracted.
It's okay. What are you excited for?
I'm excited that women can stop shrinking themselves. I'm excited that women are around to sort of give themselves permission to stop being crabs in a bucket. What I mean by crab in a bucket is when someone's climbing up and another woman tries to pull her down. There's so much space for everyone that I really think women together are so much more powerful than women separated.
Yeah.
Oh, I have one more thing.
Yeah. Danny.
One thing I'm really excited about this summer is I'm going to do a psychedelic ceremony.
Yeah. That's great. That's
Talk about that
Did not see
offline.
that one coming. Okay, Danny. You're talking to the right person. Okay, so we have 6 minutes. 6 minutes exactly for questions from the audience.
Right?
So we can take 2. Yes, can you come here? Yeah, you're gonna come here. Sorry, that's what we're doing. I decided. Yeah. Just your name, please.
Anne.
What is
Hi.
your question for?
2 parts. Do you have mom guilt, and where do you put it?
Great. Do you have mom guilt, and where do you put it? Who wants to take it?
Every day. Every day. I was like,
Who doesn't have mom guilt?
I don't have mom guilt.
You don't? Well,
Not
okay,
have
we'll
mom
talk
guilt.
later.
Okay.
I think moms are great. I think your kid is here because you gave them life, and you can only do your best, and you're going to suck at certain times, and you might be okay, they might be okay, you might bugger them up, you might not. But like, everybody has their own soul and path going forward. And once you release that, it allows your kid to be the full potential of who they're meant to be.
I have an account just for therapy for my children.
I mean, I have mom guilt all the time, so I don't really relate like in that way, but I think, where do I put it? I have an amazing community of moms around me, and again, who are not all at the same age and stage that I'm at. So I think being surrounded by other people who you can really be with and vent, and my friends are just everything. My mom group of friends are everything. That's where I put it.
I had mom guilt every day in every way, pursuing that big crazy career of mine. When my
Paris, did you have it?
yes, I cried myself to sleep in hotel rooms around the world every night, and I know all working mothers can relate to that. But where do you put it? You just put it away. You just put it away, and you just keep going because it's just not worth it. Sometimes maybe they're not that fun. You can't. I just was never willing to sacrifice. I remember my kids crying one night. Oh, mommy, do you really have to go to Paris again tomorrow? And I actually said to them, you know what, guys, I'm not gonna go. If you really don't want me to go, and I thought, I'm just gonna pack it in. I can't take this anymore. And they freaked out when I suggested that I wasn't gonna go to Paris. They went, well, no, we really mean that. We know you love your job. You have a great job. Oh, no, Mom, it's okay. And they gave me the strength to really carry on and keep on going. And I really don't regret any of it. I really don't regret any of it because, again, it's all about being true to yourself.
Bryce?
Yeah, my kids are all different stages. I've got 5 kids. Some of them are real big and some of them are real small. And I will tell you, there is plenty of guilt, and I don't care how old or young your kids are, you're going to screw them all up. They're all going to be a mess. And I am seeing the fruits of that labor with my almost 18-year-old, and I'm actively still messing up the pot with the 7-year-old. And if I consume myself with a lot of guilt, then I'm just not going to function. So at some point when they're all out of the house, I will be in immense amounts of therapy. But for right now, I just take this little lavender pill every day. It's really great.
Great answer. We have time for one more question. Who would like to have it? Please say your name. Yeah, ask the question and who's it for. This woman flew in from Ottawa for this event.
And her jacket's so soft.
I have a question because one thing I noticed that was interesting to me across the panel, there was a bit of a conflict of opinion around the idea of balance. That's something I struggle with every day, whether it's professionally or personally. But Ms. Becker, you mentioned that there's always a way to create that balance. I would love to know what the magic pill is.
Oh, listen, darling, it's just spending time in the trenches. I'm not saying it is just something that has come to me with age. That was the one thing that I always wished for. Oh, the first thing I ever wished for on my birthday cakes was my own TV show. But then, and then once I got my own TV show, I did start to wish for balance. Balance, that was the key, God, let me just find balance. And it wasn't easy, but, when you get to my age and my stage, again, just have faith that it'll come, but it's not the kind of thing that comes easily. I think it's the toughest thing to achieve, walking that tightrope and just...
And I will say, because the saying, you can have your cake and eat it too, and you can have your cake and eat it too. Just maybe you're not having the whole cake; you're just having a little slice. So there's a balance.
Or maybe it's stale.
Have it all, not just all at the same time.
Exactly, there's balance, and it's hard. As entrepreneurs, as caregivers, as moms, however we are, I have a balance. Sometimes a hot mess. Tomorrow I have to go to TSC, and I think I was talking. Yeah, I have my new gig, and I'm on the shopping channel tomorrow. But my husband has to get Botox over at Baycrest, and I'm like, how the hell am I going to get him there? So balance. I said to my kid, "You're getting there. I'll buy you Starbucks. This is what's happening." So, and I'll give her some cake too, I guess.
But I have a question, for all of us, is balance really a good thing? Do you really need balance? Isn't there also something really amazing and beautiful in life about, call it chaos, call it
It's organized chaos.
I think there's something also really beautiful about that, and maybe I would
But
get.
if you don't have balance, you're just going to fall flat on your face. And I don't think that's, I think it's just maybe a matter of semantics. Like, what
Yeah.
does balance mean to you? What
Sure.
does balance mean to everybody? It's something different for everybody.
Yes.
But
Yes.
balance is balance. I mean,
That's fair. Someone might look at me and say, "Oh, you're very balanced. You work during the day and you get to see your kids and you travel with your kids and you have the balance." And I look at them and I go, "My life is absolute chaos, but maybe that is what balance, that
balance. Oh yeah, that doesn't negate chaos. I mean, God, we got to go a little crazy in this life of ours. I mean, the world is a very rocky place, no question. But ultimately, I think we have to just keep walking the line.
I think you know what it is. I think it's calm. I think it's like, how do you find calm? Whether that is like in your day, in your week, in your year, in your hour, in your minute. Like, how do you find calm? Because maybe that peace leads to more balance. Cake. This is a whole other conversation. Bye.
And people want desserts, I think, now, don't you?
I think that's great timing and a great segue. I want to give a massive round of applause to our panel. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you, Danny, Bryce, Margot. What an incredible night. I have to thank a bunch of people, so if you guys can just be patient for 1 minute, and we're going to ask all the speakers to take a group photo first at the back of the room where the step and repeat is, before everyone approaches them.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. We have to thank a couple people. Thank you to Elizabeth Grant Skincare and to TSC for bringing us together, for your continued commitment to empowering women across generations. I'd like to thank Stone by Steph back there for helping create a beautiful, memorable experience for our guests. I'd like to thank Bella Flores for the stunning floral designs that help transform the space and the gift of the rose. I'd like to thank Gutsy Drinks for the beverages. I'd like to thank Maven Shays for supporting Shay. I always mess it up. I'd like to thank you, DJ Sweet Tea. That's Tiffany over there for bringing the energy. And most importantly, I would like to thank every single person in this room because I know how hard it is to get dressed up and to get in an Uber or to drive here or to get a babysitter or ask a spouse to do anything. So I'm very, very excited that you were able to do here. And everyone does look glamorous. I agree entirely. And thank you to Margot for really your vision execution and bringing this all together. Thank you to Vanessa for photos. Thank you to Daniel for amazing food. Thank you to Everett Gardens for being our host tonight.
The Toronto Botanical Gardens.
Toronto Botanical.
Even though we all grew up with it as Edwards Garden.
And I think the conversation doesn't end here. I encourage everyone to continue this conversation here tonight. I had one more thought. Let's say, because the most powerful thing that happens at events like this is often not what happens on stage, but what happens after. Thanks for coming.